The Olympic Games are the largest international sporting event involving athletes from around the world. The Olympic Games are considered the most important competition in the sporting world, with more than 200 nations participating. In the 19th century, an idea arose to hold events similar to those organized by the ancient Greeks in the city of Olympia between the 776 before Christ and 393 after Christ, and so the modern Olympic Games were created. Today's sport is still rooted in Greek mythical narrations as it is based on Olympism, a philosophy created more than 120 years ago by Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic movement, which seeks to create a way of life by blending sport with culture, education, and international cooperation. It is based on the joy of effort, the educational value of good example, social responsibility, and respect for universal ethical principles, values already found in ancient myths. For the ancient Greeks, a myth was not simply a story or a tale rich in religious and poetic content, but was a body of scientific or rather truthful knowledge about the world, as well as a source of normativity both for society and for the individual. People's behavior was guided by the example set by the lives of heroes. Therefore, mythical narrations showed the way for human beings to achieve perfection. Several individuals have been conceived as mythical founders of the ancient Olympic Games. One of them is Pelops, whose father, Tantalus, slit his throat and served his flesh during a festival that included games, in order to test the omniscience of the gods. The gods, knowing the terrible act Tantalus had committed, rejected the cannibal offering, which, as far as sport is concerned, shows the moral superiority of clean competition carried out without any bloodshed. According to another legend, the birth of the Olympic Games was linked, at least spiritually, to a story of self realization and striving for perfection. The myth of Hercules, which is about one of the greatest warriors in Greek mythology who achieved perfection, understood as immortality, from corporeality. Hercules is the son of Zeus and Alcmene, a mortal woman, so Hercules was born half god, half human. Hera, Zeus' wife, began to feel jealous of Alcmene as well as of Hercules, so as a punishment to her husband for his infidelity, she decided to take revenge by taking control of Hercules' mind and making him so enraged that he ended up killing his two sons and his wife Megara. In order for him to be forgiven, the oracle placed him in the service of King Eurystheus, who gave Hercules 12 tasks. Hercules succeeded and not only purged his sins, but thereby became the most famous Greek hero. All this was possible thanks to his superhuman abilities, such as strength. As we see, Hercules achieved immortality through his achievements, not by birth. The life of Hercules can be used to illustrate the main symbols on which Olympism is based. Hercules brings together all those virtues that are essential in sportsmen to achieve success: fortitude, asceticism, working for and with others, as well as striving for excellence. This is why he was and should be considered the spiritual father of the ancient games.
Find other sports symbols, the sacrificial pyre through which Hercules achieved importantly is undoubtedly reminiscent of the Olympic flame, which granted importantly to the athlete who was able to achieve it. This is why the first stadium built in Olympia began right in front of the altar, where the bonifer was led to begin in the sacrifice in honor of Zeus during the games. It seems that the origin of the stadium, the most famous foot race of antiquity, was to determine who would have the honor of lighting the stake to begin the sacrifice in the honor of Zeus. This gave rise to the idea that the winner of the game didn't need any material prize, since lighting the flame that became the race and the ritual was the greatest prize that could be awarded to a mortal. The winner was therefore crowned with the olive leaf taken from the private courtyard of the temple of Zeus, as a sign that the champion had won, like Hercules, that privilege of meeting Zeus. Another rare example of symbolism is the laurel wreath given to the winner of the games, which came from the myth of Apollo and Daphne. One day Apollo the gave sent Angel Eros, the god of love, who take two arrows from his back, the fair, which had a lead tip, and provoked the reaction of love, is made at Daphne. The second, made of gold, is injected to Apollo. The young nymph, under the effect of the magic arrow, reject all the proposals made to her and go to the solitude of mountain, where she thought she would be quiet and alone. But one day Apollo discovered her and purposed haste to get her love. So Daphne ran to the father, the river Phaneros, who turned her into a laurel to help her, even though Apollo continued to love her, and with the aim of being with her father, he made himself a crown with its
Here's a
leaves.
free way for you to optimize your internet connection.
One of the most famous symbols on a global scale today, the Nike logo, is known as the swoosh, and was created by the graphic designer Caroline Davidson in 1971, and the request Nike, the founder of the brand, who wanted a logo with movement. She was inspired by the wings of the goddess Nike, despite in Hellenic tradition as a winged woman running at great speed. After several sketches, the designer came up with what would become the brand final images. The price of the design at the time is said to have been $35, although Davidson was later awarded a diamond ring with the Nike logo and an uncertain amount of shares in Nike Corporation.